Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Wandering Wild. The other day, I sat at the beach and I watched the waves. And as I was looking at the ocean and the waves rolling in, I started to feel this overwhelming sense of, I think the only word I can use to describe it is love. I felt it through my whole body. And then it kind of settled in my chest and literally brought tears to my eyes. Not because I was sad, but because I just felt so full of emotion. This intense emotion that was just really beautiful. And I also started to feel this great sense of gratitude. Gratitude for just being alive and for everything that I have in my life in this moment, for the people and the experiences and for myself. And so I just sat there and I told the ocean over and over again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was this really profound moment because nothing dramatic had happened. There wasn't another person standing in front of me telling me that they loved me or expressing love to me. Yet in this moment, I felt so loved. This isn't the first time that I felt this way. I've felt this way many times in my life, usually when I'm in nature, and a lot since I've gotten to the island. And this experience of feeling so loved, but there not being another person there, because I think that sometimes we think of love as, when we talk about love, I think our mind often jumps to a romantic kind of love. But love is so much bigger than that. And sometimes I feel as if the earth, the sky, the stars, the ocean, whatever, sometimes I feel as if it really loves and cares for me. And sometimes I wonder if it's my own gratitude being reflected back at me. And so during this moment, it kind of got me thinking, what is love? You're listening to the Wandering Wild podcast. I don't know whether the love is coming from the earth, if it's something that is within me, or maybe it's something about the way those two things meet. We have this one word, which is love. It's a feeling, yet it encompasses so many different feelings and so many different experiences. You can love your parent, a sibling, yourself. You can love the ocean, your job. You can love a pet. You can love a moment. Yet these feelings, although they all can be categorized under this one word, they don't actually feel the same. They're not identical. Sometimes love can feel quiet and certain. Sometimes it can feel more intense and confusing. Maybe it can even feel like fear of losing something important to you. It can feel like care. And we have all these different situations where we can feel love in different kinds of ways. And then you take it, each person, I probably experience love in a completely different way than my friends can experience love, than my parents experience love. And so to me, this is a really interesting topic because I think that love is what makes life so beautiful. In my opinion, that's kind of what I seek out in my life, is love. And between all of these experiences, what is the common thread? Is it connection to something? Is it the meaning that we assign to something? Maybe it's just hormones and maybe it's a little bit of magic. But somehow this one word holds so many experiences. In moments where I feel this overwhelming sense of love. I feel like it's something that I want to share and express. It often feels to me like I want to cry. Again, not because I'm sad, but because there's just such a strong emotion. I guess it's just so beautiful to me. Maybe that sounds really cheesy, but it's really true. I don't know if you've ever experienced this when you're looking at the ocean or you're looking at the stars, or maybe you're just in a group of really amazing people. And it makes you want to cry a little bit because it's just so powerful. I think that what I call love is often tied into gratitude as well. I find myself wanting to thank things, as I told you in that moment where I sat there and I was thanking the ocean for everything that I had. It often makes me want to express love by physical touch, by giving people hugs, by creating art. And it makes me want to fall in love with people and fall in love with everything. The more I feel love, I feel like the more I want love, and the more I want to share it with other people, and the more I want to express it and share this kind of magic that I feel. Also, in that moment when I was sitting in the ocean, I remember thinking, after I was thanking the ocean, I remember asking for more opportunities where I can share this love. I'm talking about the ocean a lot here because I always say that my greatest love story will always be the one between the ocean and I. And I think that's really interesting. Some people, when I say it, they're like, oh, cute, whatever. But really, I really mean that. Um, I love bananas, but I don't really feel loved by bananas. But I love the ocean, and often it feels like a two-sided feeling. Like, it doesn't feel like the feeling is one-sided. It feels like I'm actually loved for and cared for by the ocean. And sometimes this love feels personal. Sometimes it feels universal. And I always feel like I am myself because I always feel like I love and care about myself. But at the same time, it makes me feel like I'm not separate from everything else. Like, I'm not separate from the earth, I'm not separate from the ocean, and I'm not separate from this love that I feel. And isn't it so interesting how we can receive love, how we can give love, and how we can even create love? And this idea that we ourselves can be love is really interesting to me. And I want to share something that I've experienced while teaching yoga and leading meditation. And it's the sense that we're creating love between a group of people. And I want to explain this to you because I think it's really interesting because, like we've kind of talked about, love can take a lot of different forms, but I think that it can also come in a lot of different ways. I think that you can receive it, you can give it, and you can create it. It's almost like love is this energy that enters inside of you, and then it kind of wants somewhere to go. And again, I don't know exactly how to explain it because it's like, I don't know, when you feel those feelings of love, are you receiving it and then you're giving it? Or are you actually creating it within yourself and then passing it on? Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. But I want to tell you something that I've experienced while facilitating space, while teaching yoga, things like that. One thing that I really love about teaching yoga, this is actually probably the biggest reason why I keep teaching yoga, is because you get a group of people together and they're all in their own practice. We're not really chatting with each other. We're not usually looking over at each other. Every person is on their own mat in their own practice. And everyone comes into the class bringing their own energy and thoughts from the day. But at the beginning of every class, I have people sit and close their eyes and begin to breathe. And I usually will guide people through a breathing exercise or some sort of visualization exercise. And as I begin to speak, I can feel the energy shifting in the room. And through breath, through visualization, through this energy shift, through my voice, and then eventually when we start to move through movement, we start to create between each of us this sense of peace in the space, the sense of calm, and I believe this feeling of love. The difference in energy from when I start a class to when I end the class, from when everyone comes out of Shavasana, they're sitting there, we'll do a little bit more breathing, and then I invite everyone to open their eyes. You can feel the difference in energy in the room. And to me, how I describe this really powerful feeling would be love. And isn't that interesting? How a group of people can come together and be in their own practice, but through thoughts, through breath, and through movement, we together, collectively, can bring a feeling of love into a space. So that, I think, is a really good example of when you are creating this feeling yourself. And that is really powerful. And then in addition to creating it, you can receive love. I feel loved by nature. I feel loved by my parents. When people tell me that they love me and I believe them, that's me receiving love. And then you can also give love. And there's so many different forms that you can share and receive love as well, right? Like sometimes it's an action. Sometimes it's doing somebody a favor. Maybe you take out the trash when the other person didn't want to, or you bring a gift. Maybe it's the words that you say to somebody. Maybe it's just your presence and your energy. And maybe it's just a smile. There are so many different ways to give, to receive, and to create. And I think I also believe that maybe it's not something that always needs to be created. Maybe it's something that can already be there too. When you're walking through nature and you just begin to feel it. When you're looking at art, when you're meditating. I'm not sure if it's something that we're creating or if it's something that's already there and we're kind of accessing it. It's kind of this sense of being tuned in to love. Because I think that, I know this is a very broad topic. I'm struggling a little bit to find my words because it's so complex, it's a little bit hard to decipher. This feeling of intense love that I feel, it fades. When I am stressed, when I'm anxious, when I'm at work, I really don't feel this as much. But I don't think necessarily that it's not there anymore. I think that I'm just not tuned into it, because then when I take a moment to be present, the feeling will come back. I think that there's moments when I'm in a group of friends and maybe we're having a really good time and we're laughing and I'm so caught up in the moment, and then I will have this moment where I kind of take a step back and I'm kind of able to observe things from the outside and realize how incredible this moment is and how much I care for these people and how amazing they are and how grateful I feel to be in their presence. And those are the moments where I'm really present, and then I feel like that's when I can access the love. Like I said, I'm kind of more tuned into it. I don't know, I could describe it as a radio, right? Okay, so maybe love is like a channel on the radio, and it's always there. It's always there, but maybe you're just not flipped onto the right channel to feel it or hear it. But then, I think that love can come accompanied by so many different emotions. I think that some people think I sound crazy when I say that I don't really mind my sadness or my grief. And it's not something that I always, when I feel it, I don't immediately try and push it away. Because I believe that a lot of different feelings can be extensions of love. Love creates vulnerability. And sometimes vulnerability can lead to pain, and it can lead to grief. I have often said grief is another form of love. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's more of like an extension or an accompaniment to love. But when I say this, what I mean is that you don't usually grieve something that you didn't once love or that you don't currently love. Grief and sadness over the loss of something often means that something was really important, which is kind of how we want to feel, right? Like if we love something and then we lose it, I always feel like feeling sadness or grief about this is a good thing because it means that it was something important. You can also have fear accompanied with love, fear of losing the love, fear of losing the thing that you love. And maybe fear isn't love itself, but maybe it's part of it. So see, that's what I'm kind of trying to explain there. Is like we have love and then we have all these different experiences that fall underneath that category. We have all these different emotions that fall under that category, these different kinds of feelings. And so all these different feelings are kind of extensions of that. And not just these negative feelings, but also joy and excitement. Love can make us feel really excited. It can make us feel really joyful. But like, I love this. I love this because this is so beautiful to me. To be alive on this earth and to have this complex, huge range of emotion. That is so beautiful to me. It adds like this contrast to your life, right? This joy and this fear and this excitement and the pain and everything. That is what makes life, in my opinion, full, is all this emotion. And I feel like I am here on this earth as a human, maybe for the only time ever. I don't want to push any feelings away. I really want to experience it in full. I want to feel it all. I kind of have this feeling like, well, I am here. Like I may as well experience it. And to be on this earth as a human, I think, is a really special gift. Because in relation to love, as a human, we are connected to all of this. I mean, I think every living thing is, but we're connected to nature. We are connected to the animals. We're connected to the sky. We are part of this nature, right? And I think that this sense of love is kind of like a connector between all living things. So just to be alive is such a gift, but then on top of that, to be a human, that's where things get really interesting. Because as a human, we are able to consciously participate in love. We are able to notice it, to feel it, to consciously receive it, to create it, and to give it. And maybe that's what this all kind of comes back to, going back to the beginning where I'm talking about sitting at the ocean, is these moments of intense presence where you kind of realize the beauty and the gift of being alive. And you are able to feel this gratitude for simply existing. I think that is when I feel the most positive sense of love. So I think, okay, we don't need to make this a big thing, but maybe just for a moment, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just pause for a moment. Just slow down. Take a few breaths. And then start to touch your fingers together. And just pay attention to the sensation of your fingers touching each other. And realize that you're here. Notice the moment. And let yourself realize that you exist in this moment. And just notice. Notice your thoughts and your emotions. And try and find this sense of gratitude for just simply existing. And how incredible it is to just exist. Maybe love has been around you in more ways than you've realized. Whether you're receiving it, you're giving it, or you're creating it. We've come to the end of the episode and I still don't know what love is. But I do know that when I'm tuned into it, it helps me remember how extraordinary it is to be alive. And so that's the thought that I will leave you with today. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, let me know by leaving me a comment, by following the podcast, by engaging, and I'm excited to see you next week.